Hi, I'm Terry Riddle, pastor of Southside Baptist Church in Chesapeake. I'm here to answer the question as to how the cluster group process has been helpful to me as a pastor. And to answer that, first of all, it's helpful to go back and know a little bit about my history. For the 2 years prior to becoming pastor of Southside, I worked with the homeless in Portsmouth for 2 years as a case manager for a nonprofit agency that helped provide basic human services for the homeless. In that process, we also provided winter sheltering, and I had the opportunity to share a witness with the clients as well. Before that, I served for 2 years as an associate pastor of a church, and then prior to that, for 13 years, I was a senior pastor of a church in Portsmouth. When I was called to pastor Southside, the church, by its own estimation, was in a decline mode. They had been averaging about 65 in worship and 48 in Sunday school for the previous year. And prior to that, for 30 years earlier, the congregation had been averaging about 250 active member congregation. But for a host of reasons, they had declined through the years. So when I came as pastor, it didn't take long for me to realize that some of my skills as a pastor and leader were rusty. I began to struggle with how to move the church forward and how we could be a healthier congregation for Christ and seeking to build His kingdom. I sensed a lack of vision and felt overwhelmed as to how to proceed in the process. When I heard about the Great Commission cluster group process, I felt it was an answered prayer to me and the needs of our congregation. The cluster group provided a place where, as a pastor, I realized that I was not alone in the struggles and the issues that we faced as a congregation, that other congregations and pastors were also struggling to lead their churches forward. In the cluster group process, I found hope and encouragement. The association also provided a leadership team that helped in a consultation process. The church gathered information about our history, and which forced us to acknowledge the truth about where we were in the life cycle of the church. We had to take a hard look and acknowledge that a lot of what we were doing as a church had not and was not being effective in reaching our current generation. With the cluster group process really has been a lifeline for me and for the church I'm privileged to pastor. Without this process, I would not have had the skills, the courage, the support, the resources to lead the church to make some significant changes in a unified fashion as we have. The Lord truly has used the leadership and the resources of the NABA staff and family to help me as a pastor. The process helped me to provide the leadership and guidance to the church so that we are now much healthier. We're now averaging 98 in worship and 65 in Sunday school. We've been able to repay a 10-year loan from the Baptist Council that we incurred to complete the building of a new ministry center in less than a year and 9 months. There is a renewed sense of excitement and hope as we continue to move forward in reaching others for Christ. The congregation and I will be forever grateful to the Great Commission cluster group process.